Freddie is an alcoholic drifter dealing with the trauma of World War II.
You want to get the lady back. How'd I get down here?
You're acting aggressive because you drank too much alcohol.
By chance, he meets Lancaster, the charismatic leader of the cause.
But above all, I am a man, just like you.
As Freddie adheres to Lancaster's religious teachings, the cult's inner circle sees him as a threat.
He will be our undoing if we continue to have him here.
In The Master.
Hi, I'm Greg Karber.
I'm Rachel Appelbaum.
Salim Lemelle.
And we're here to talk about Paul Thomas Anderson's long-awaited follow-up to There Will Be Blood, The Master. We've all just seen it. Salim?
This movie was among his weaker films, and the reason why it wasn't as good is because it never really felt like it got going. It doesn't have a great through line in terms of narrative structure, and it doesn't really want to be coherent, which you kind of start seeing as the movie goes on. It's really about human emotion and the extremes of human emotion.
Yes. So about that, I feel like also, yes, it doesn't have a clear plot. What is this movie trying to do? And they even have a scene where there's sort of like this standoff between Joaquin Phoenix's character and Philip Seymour Hoffman's character, where the two of them are supposed to be butting heads. It's supposed to be this tear-jerking scene where you feel bad that they can't be together, but the movie hasn't really set it up for me that this is a climactic scene.
No, you
You're usually truthful to they unpredictable.
I know you're trying to calm me down, but just say something that's true!
I just wanted a little bit more. I felt like this was sort of a light meal. I wanted some steak.
You think The Master was a light meal?
I do. I think it sets out to be steak and it presents you with salad.
You know, after I watched this movie and really thinking about like, all those scenes that you were telling me about, there's one in particular where he sees people naked randomly. And again, I didn't get that scene. I realized what this guy was from the very beginning, that he's this repressed dude who all he thinks about is sex. That's all he wants, but he can't get it because Lancaster thinks it's an animalistic tendency.
Right.
You realize it just keeps making him worse and
Well, yeah, but you have this naked scene, and first of all, it's not clear whose eyes you're seeing the scene.
It's very clear that we're
It's
seeing
clear,
it through
like, when
Joaquin
you
Phoenix's
realize
eyes. We do a close cut to Joaquin Phoenix,
Yeah.
and then of his eyes, and then we match cut to a fantasy sequence of the room.
Yeah.
That's
but
very clear that we're seeing it from his perspective.
if you're seeing it from his perspective, are you seeing it that he's repressed and he wants access to these women?
A lot of things.
Again, it's a 10-minute scene, and it's not really, guiding you in any direction.
The movie doesn't take you by the head and show you and tell you this is the meaning, this is what you're supposed to see.
But it feels, again, it just feels gratuitous.
I think this movie is about two characters who are wrong for each other.
Completely.
Who will exacerbate the problems in each other's lives, but who are drawn to each other by their inherent natures and by their relationships, and they both so strongly want something to happen, but they're bad for each other. And I think that there's so much in this movie. I think the imagery is unbelievable. I think that the directing is so confident and so precise.
Yeah.
Amy Adams' character, her dynamic with Philip Seymour Hoffman, that part of the story works for me, and that there's a lot of subtext there, and I get that.
Sort of the elephant in the room here is Scientology. Lancaster's very clearly L. Ron Hubbard. You see this in almost every facet of the movie. Auditing is called processing. Being clear is called being a perfect. The whole movie is mapped perfectly onto Scientology.
Just different titles and names.
The names have been changed to protect the guilty.
If this is a movie about cults, and if it is a movie about Scientology, then they've picked the most benign era to show. They haven't showed you the beginning, the invention, and how manipulative that is, and they're not showing you the evils along the way and as much of the corruption to the point where it's at right now.
Well, that's a great point to transition into the acting.
Yeah.
I felt like the acting in this movie was phenomenal.
Yeah. I can't really think of a better word than incredible and amazing, because both of these guys, Philip Seymour Hoffman and Joaquin Phoenix, they try to outdo each other in just about every scene. Joaquin Phoenix he has this anguish, this pain, and there were times where I really couldn't even understand what he was saying because he was he was kind of just, and there was something wrong with his speech. He had a speech impediment. Exactly, and I just thought that was incredible.
There are times when I'm almost too aware of these two men as actors, where you're watching Philip Seymour Hoffman and he's having this moment where he puts his hand out and he's going, as an actor, I am relishing it. And we kind of relish it along with him.
I thought the acting was amazing and completely immersive. And I think Joaquin Phoenix is completely unrecognizable in this role. And I think it's something we haven't seen before from him. And I don't think in any moment you're drawn out. I think, in fact, I'm constantly drawn in and I'm wondering what is the interior mind of this character, and I'm so fascinated by what are these people thinking.
I mean, I've got that in moments, like when the scene is really sharp, like the moment where he's going through processing.
When you are in processing, what comes to you is always right. always right, always good, always helpful, will always lead you toward the pain.
Well, we're orbiting around it. Let's talk about the director, Paul Thomas Anderson.
We know PTA makes emotional movies, and this one is no different. Similar to There Will Be Blood, this one just really has a great emotional resonance with these characters because they're so interesting.
Well, it reminded me of something that Robert Towne, the writer of Chinatown, said about that movie, and he said it was the first noir that was composed entirely of the shoe leather, of the scenes that were in between the scenes in most noirs. And I certainly think the master's like that.
A disjointed plot is saved by some amazing performances. See it.
This is a half-developed story with very developed acting. I give it a stream it.
This is an amazing movie by a great filmmaker. See it, see it, see it.
Cheers, mates.
Well, this review was just
Cheers.
masterful.
Wolf.
Was there a fight? Let's just see if we can't help you remember what happened. Okay.
Not Boogie Nights, Punch Drunk Love.
I'm sorry, Punch Drunk Love, whatever.
They're all the same to you.